Okay, so begin. This is a course in Systemology. And Systemology is the epitome of what I have been working on for the last 29 years. And in that course of time, I've discovered many things, some of them actually useful, and collected them, codified them, systematized them. There's been 3 decades of paper trail, all of it published, much of which we study here at the Academy. And in previous grades, you can explore the path which has led us here, but today we are making history. And that history, I believe, needed to be documented and recorded. So there's many firsts taking place today. This is the first official course, basic course, on the fundamentals of Systemology. And I waited until we knew that there was somewhere to go, that we knew that this led somewhere, that this was not just another spiritual pipe dream, that this was not just going to become another multi-level marketing method of self-improvement, all of which we've seen examples of in the past, none of which have successfully brought us anywhere to where we want to go. So I can actually say that this leads where we want to go. And for the first time, we will be going from the bottom to the top and exploring the way out. Now, the textbook for this course is Fundamentals of Systemology. This is available wherever books are sold. It's available from our website, available from here at the Academy. This is the first part of many courses, many levels of study, progressive, development, personal improvement, increased awareness and understanding, and we'll cover as much as we need to get you where you need to go. I don't expect to cover every bit of material that you would find in your textbooks within these lectures, but this is a first for us. They asked me to come down the Academy and give these courses. And in the past, we've just done audio recordings so that we could produce transcripts for posterity, study. And this time I said, we need to film this. We need to get this all down and show the instructors how it's done. Unfortunately, a lot of people have only been able to study at a distance, independent of any kind of personal instruction from the Mardukite Academy. It's very costly to be able to come down here. And so what we've been able to do is arrange to have these filmed. We use these films and audio recordings now for the Academy so that I don't have to keep rewinding and giving the fundamentals course 50, 100, how many times people want to start from scratch coming down here to do this. So we're doing this in video form. The Fundamentals of Systemology textbook includes 6 different lessons. And each one of those lessons, I have a copy here, each one of those lessons is actually also available in an individual pocket-sized form. And that's another first for us. The new standard for Mardukite Systemology that I've established, these courses are available in textbooks. They're also available in individual lessons. And could I borrow the books maybe under your chair there that you have? And thank you. So in addition to the basics that we're going to cover, the Pathway to Ascension standard professional course is where you're going to find processing levels 0 to 6. And these are the levels towards Ascension. This is the method in which we have established towards Ascension. There is also the Keys to the Kingdom Advanced Training course for level 7 and 8. All of this material combined, along with the fundamentals that we'll be studying today, this is New Standard Systemology. and it has taken over 100 books and, as I say, 3 decades to refine this material. And this material is meant to be studied as a single body of material, starting with the basics. And as I say, they are also available in individual pocket-size lessons. This arrangement of 5 books here is also 33 individual booklets that you can obtain. Now, I will say they are more economical in this format. Rather than getting them individually, it's more costly to bind and distribute these individual lessons. However, for those that need to study this in installments, whether for time purposes or economic purposes, this is the first time we have these individual lessons available to the public, apart from just here at the Academy, learning here at the Academy. Here, I will give these back to you so I don't end up taking your books. Thank you. And so, well, let's get right into this then. I brought my notes down here so that I make sure to stay on track. This is a broad subject of which we could cover many, many aspects. And as I say, we spent the last year refining this new standard for systemology, so I don't want to distract too much from it. As I say, we've got a good thing going here. And that's something I am pleased to report. I know a lot of people have been hanging on for many years, waiting to see where this would go, if it would go anywhere, myself among them. So I'm very pleased to see that we are reaching something now that has never actually been discussed before. It has never been taught before. It has never been realized before. Once upon a time, there may have been a clearer understanding than what we had today 6,000 years ago with the original ancient mystery schools. But today, after all of that time and the periods of misunderstanding, political issues, the changing of languages, the politics involved with religion, we have lost what we once had. Our systemology is an entirely new approach to self-actualization, completely relevant for the modern age and for the future. We plan on sticking around for a while. Former attempts at overcoming barriers or gates of reality have included simply pretending that they don't exist, as the mystic has often tried to do. These factions and traditions which essentially reject all material existence and all time and space, considering it all an illusion, and then of course consequently losing the ability to actually confront the reality of any of these things as it is, as they are. As it is a term that we use in systemology that will explain part of what we're going to cover here in the basics is a lot of the basic concepts, fundamentals, understanding principles. These are what you are really developing as you go along. Now, the understanding surpasses these as we move up and through the levels, but without the basic vocabulary, none of the previous sciences, none of the previous philosophies, none of the methodologies or paradigms that we could actually use or explore as they were given really adequately explained the types of things that we're dealing with. Now, we're dealing with the same phenomenon, the same fundamental existence as all these other ways of understanding them, but whether or not they could actually be cohesively understood, that was another story. And so in systemology, we were able to essentially almost take a truth net, a net that would essentially only capture each element of the paradigms, various sciences, philosophies, religions, natural philosophy, that were useful, that actually did anything for anyone, that were actually able to be used cohesively with other understanding apart from just within their own sciences, within their own paradigms. So this is a brand new way of understanding life, universes, and everything. And yes, I said universes plural. When applying art, philosophy, and techniques, we basically use what we call systematic routes, and these are outlined methods to increase what we refer to as actualized awareness. And awareness is the key component to what we deal with. We don't in systemology use the word consciousness or conscious or subconscious, unconscious, superconscious. These are psychology terms, and unfortunately psychology failed to pierce the barriers that we were looking for as well. Although the word is rooted in exploring a study or a science of the mind or literally spirit, it failed to do so, and it failed to be able to put it under the microscope, and therefore failed to become anything more in now the 21st century than a kind of neuroscience that emphasizes the brain. So there really are no other avenues to treating the material that we are treating today. And each of the routes we'll explore as we go up through the levels. We're going to focus on the basics and fundamentals within at least the next 3 class periods, and then we will look farther into the actual personal development processing routes once we understand the vocabulary and can actually communicate this properly. It has taken probably more than the research of the understanding or the material. It has taken 3 decades to actually develop the proper communication of this, a way that it could be communicated in the materials that we now produce as textbooks for the Academy and for the Systemology Society. It's taken 3 decades to refine the communication of something that we weren't really even always sure. Myself, working and developing with multiple organizations, Mardukite Zooism being the precursor to this one. There's basically the apex of what we were doing up until 2012 became kind of the pinnacle of Mardukite work, the Mardukite Zooism work pertaining to Mesopotamia. Upon that foundation, we then established the rest of the systemology that you study here at the Academy or that you see in the books that are available. This course and the basics, the fundamentals of systemology basic course, is the first time for systemology that you can come right in. You don't need to know anything about the previous gradients of understanding or learning that we have done here at the Academy, other subjects, other areas, and history lessons. This is the first time someone can come in from scratch and pick up systemology. And this is a combined effort between the Systemology Society and the Mardukite Academy. For the Mardukite Academy, this completes your prerequisites to enter into grade 6, which is where the pathway Ascension is taught for those that are treating the Academy route. However, for the Systemology Society, this new standard essentially replaces all of the previous material that I've developed on the subject that was published on this. Does that mean that it goes out the window and that this is it now, and now everything else we did before is meaningless? Absolutely not. But what we've been able to do is refine this understanding, the communications for new standard systemology, that the other books took many volumes to relay. And they are still used for training. They're still used at the Academy. So, don't go through your bookshelf and start tossing out all your old editions. They're still valid. This is a faster way. So when I say things like we don't use the word conscience or consciousness rather, then a lot of people start to get a little nervous because we start breaking you instantly from this comfort zone that you're in a little bit. And so what I mean by that, when we use actually the word unconscious in systemology, we literally mean someone knocked on the head unconscious. We don't mean things, buried beneath the layers of some repressed, it's the kind of usage of it in psychology. So when we talk about things that are buried beneath the surface, we're really talking about that which is knowingness. Whether something is known or not known, we're talking about knowingness. Now, awareness is the capacity to be aware. to have awareness. And knowingness is what one actually knows, or what one does not know, or has chosen for whatever reasons not to know. So one of the things that processing does, if we can imagine just imagine this as a whole stream of all the experience and everything that one might have. So continuing above and beyond that, there is, of course, there's a surface. There's a surface about which we would say above this is what one actually knows. Let's say actual. So within this area, this is what a person actually knows. That means actualized knowing, actualized awareness. What's within the realm of their accessibility for recall, what they're how they're interacting in day-to-day life. There's also, as you can see, much that's below the surface of knowingness, and this is something that, strangely enough, an individual in this lifetime, several lifetimes, however long the individual has been in existence, they have maintained a record, a track of everything that they have experienced, everything that they know, everything that they have chosen not to know. So when we treat something in processing, we're treating things in layers, we're treating things in levels, we're treating things incrementally. We are peeling back this level of knowingness to see what is just beneath the surface. So below here, we might consider this area what a person almost knows. And so it's kind of a gray area. And this is what is in the realm of accessibility with, for example, systemology processing. So when an individual is peeling back those first layers, this is what they're going to encounter. And of course, there's still all of this down here. So what we're doing we're replacing, I guess, what you would consider above the surface. We're taking what was almost known, what is just beneath the surface, what's still accessible but just very cloudy, and turning it into the realm of actual knowns. And we'll just refer to that as actual knowns. This A between actualized awareness and what we'll get into what I mean by alpha spirit, this comes up a lot when as a symbol when representing the uppermost, the spiritual, the alpha states, the supreme, the point of supreme knowingness, all knowingness. Again, begins with an A. So we're consistently pulling back layers and moving down the bar. And then, of course, here we would have again another kind of gray area that we might take up in another period of processing after handling the first. So what are we studying in systemology? What are we treating in systemology? Well, obviously we're treating something involving systems. We're treating the understanding of systems as related to other systems. Let's see. So we got like system here. System. And what are we treating? We're treating self or spirit, which is to say you, and we are treating space, time, energy, and mass or matter. So that's all. That's all we handle. So in this importance almost. And these two are really the same. It just kind of works out for our spelling here. But we start with the most ancient understanding which we uncovered. That was one thing that we did uncover with Mardukite Zuism, and that's what we refer to as the arcane tablets. And some of that also lingers from the period of 2012 to 2019. Most of that we now treat as archaic systemology, because it used a lot of older vocabulary or vocabulary from Mardukite Zuism that we've since replaced. For example, the concept of on, the cuneiform symbol on, we now understand as the alpha state, and again using the letter A. But our understanding of it has actually improved or been more refined, more useful to looking at beyond just Mesopotamian concepts. So, for example, in the arcane tablets, we find the infinity of nothingness as the first existence or the first form. And you don't really need to know the cuneiform or Sumerian Babylonian names for this, but this was referred to as Abzu, and before everything, before all existence was Abzu, was the infinity of nothingness. And from that, from out of this infinity of nothingness, we have essentially a womb of creation. We have a ripple or an island of potential everythingness. So we, in parasystemology, it's assumed that, there may be an infinite amount of these islands or wombs of creation that exist within this ocean of infinity. But for our purposes, we have the existence that we have, and this potential everythingness actually was eventually divided further, and this is what the arcane tablets suggest. That it was divided between this potential everythingness and another zone of that which actually was, that which is actually experienced or agreed to as reality. Now, in anthropology and archaeology, they are still interpreting these concepts in the way that's been expressed in mythologies and so forth, where we have, let's stay consistent with our colors here. So we have on and ki, and most people have come to interpret these as heaven and earth, the way they're expressed, for example, in most interpretations of the Babylonian epic of creation. But what we've actually understood them to be is really two different elements of existence, two different elements of the cosmos. And for purposes of systemology, we've simply simplified this as an alpha and beta state of existence, or an alpha and beta condition of what is taking place as existence, what is experienced as existence. And all of our true spiritual nature, our true spiritual forms, actually originate in the alpha, in the spiritual zone. They're experienced and manifest down here. And the reason Mardukite Zuism is called Zuism, and perhaps the one key word that we didn't replace in new standard systemology, is this word Zu. And what Zu represents is basically a line a line of awareness that extends from really infinity and from where our true spiritual nature originates. The symbol that's used for Zu, or the symbol that's used for On rather, in an alpha condition is the 8-pointed star. And we kind of represent, when we talk about the spirit, we're talking about a point of awareness that radiates outwardly and such. The cuneiform sign for Ki looks something of that nature, and we represented as 0, or a 0-point continuity down here. This right down here, this one point where all of this meets, is what you're experiencing as physical existence, the physical universe. So we have a systemology where we're dealing with not only the physics, the observable physics of the physical universe, but everything between 0 and infinity. Really, the primary subject or study of systemology involves you. The most important component of all life existence is the awareness, the actual individual themselves that is observing and experiencing life and existence. Systemology provides a systematic understanding of the parts or systems that make up the individual and the package of experience that we call the human condition. A seeker or student at the Academy has likely heard of this body, mind, and spirit triad before, whether from New Age media or in some other holistic practice or studies. It's become a cliche, and in our systemology we look at spirit and the body and them being separate and connected by this stream of Zu or awareness. And this is one of the key understandings necessary to liberating awareness from this idea that it is fixed within the body or even fixed within a mind. And let's see here. Just about every lesson and technique in systemology, what it's designed to do is further elevate one's actualized awareness to higher states, back to a source point of self and realizing self. Again, I use this term alpha spirit. We don't use the term soul in systemology. That has other connotations, and even the term spirit or spiritual can denote other entities or other alpha spirits themselves. There isn't just one oversoul alpha spirit that is controlling everything. When we say alpha spirit, we mean the actual individual as they are as a spirit, the actual true personality, the true individual being, independent of whatever they're identifying with in between in order to experience existence. Those identifications, whether they be with the body or the mind or certain reality agreements concerning what is possible, what is in existence, what is being created, all of these are filters in which the spirit is basically placing its consciousness, its awareness, somewhere lower than being the kind of overseeing operator as we are. We're operating these bodies, we're not within these bodies. However, we do have the ability to fix or lower our seat of consciousness to, as we used to say in archaic systemology, we don't use consciousness now, but we used to consider them seats of basically where you're putting your place. Nowadays we talk about locating a viewpoint. In New Standard Systemology, we don't use seats of consciousness, but locating a viewpoint. The viewpoint, for example, right now, you're probably more compulsively or automatically looking through, and experiencing through the eyes of the body, rather than a spirit that is operating a body. The fixed viewpoint, the what you're looking out from as an observer, is primarily fixed to the body. And this is one of the things that we are liberating a person from as we progressively work through our systemology practices.
The Joshua Free Imprint, JFI Publications, in conjunction with Mardukite Academy and the Systemology Society, present the single greatest breakthrough of the 21st century for all humanity, the perfection of a new standard systemology, a complete map for the way out from the bottom to the top, and your key to being an ascended master in this lifetime. Everything you need is contained in 3 progressive, self-guiding courses: the Fundamentals of Systemology Basic Course, the Pathway to Ascension Professional Course, and the Keys to the Kingdom Advanced Training Course. And each should be studied and applied in their intended sequence and order as displayed in this video. All 3 courses combined are available as 5 standard hardcover volumes, but also as 33 installments, since each single course lesson is also available individually as a pocket-sized manual. The Fundamentals of Systemology Basic Course includes Being More Than Human, Realities in Agreement, Windows to Experience, Ancient Systemology, A History of Systemology, and Systemology Processing. The Pathway to Ascension Professional Course, including processing levels 0 through 6, includes in Volume 1, Increasing Awareness, Thought and Emotion, Clear Communication, Handling Humanity, Free Your Spirit, Escaping Spirit Traps, Eliminating Barriers, and Conquest of Illusion. The Pathway to Ascension Volume 2 includes Confronting the Past, Lifting the Veils, Spiritual Implants, Games and Universes, Spiritual Energy, Spiritual Machinery, The Arcs of Infinity, and Alpha Thought. The Keys to the Kingdom AT Advanced Training Course for Processing Level 7 in Volume 1 includes The Secret of Universes, Games, Goals, and Purposes, The Jewel of Knowledge, Implanted Universes, and the supplementals Systemology Biofeedback and Systemology Procedures. The Keys to the Kingdom AT Advanced Training Course for Processing Level 8 in Volume 2 includes Entities and Fragments, Spiritual Perception, Mastering Ascension, Advancing Systemology, and the AT Supplement Systemology Piloting. All titles are available from your favorite bookseller. Explore new standard systemology today, and may you never be the same.